more than 1,000 flights across America. Delta, United, American, and Southwest among the airlines forced to cancel flights due to the strain on air traffic controllers during the government shutdown. The FAA ordering airlines to reduce flights by up to 10% in the top 40 busiest markets. At least 4-hour delays in Washington, D.C. today. Many passengers now racing to rebook flights for this weekend and next week. Thousands of air traffic controllers and TSA agents working without pay. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warning the next step may be to close airspace over parts of the country. ABC's Stephanie Ramos leads us off from Newark Airport.
Tonight, a travel headache for passengers as airlines canceled more than 1,000 flights to ease pressure on the air traffic control system, triggering long lines and nearly 5,000 delays.
Total headache, disaster, nightmare.
Actually, I'm freaked out because I'm going to miss a flight, and it's a family reunion in Florida, and it will be really horrible.
Airlines slashed flights at 40 major airports under an emergency order from the FAA. Those cancellations set to more than double to 10% of daily flights in the coming days.
So I had a flight this morning.
Karen Soika's flight was rebooked, but she couldn't make it from Newark to JFK in time.
Are you ready for this? They rebooked me at a JFK an hour earlier with a 11-hour layover in some place called Port of Spain. Crazy, crazy.
President Trump's Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy insists the drastic cuts are needed to relieve pressure as air traffic controllers work without pay and more call out sick.
The controller seems more stressed. Those reports from pilots have gone up. There's been an increase in loss of separation. There's safe distances. We keep airplanes apart in the sky. Those numbers have gone up.
Tonight, Duffy is defending the decision to cut air traffic.
Some people have second-guessed what we've done. We have not politicized the airspace. We've been working incredibly hard to make sure that there's minimal disruption to the best of our ability and still keep it safe.
With the holiday rush right around the corner, many passengers are worried air travel will only get worse and just want this shutdown over.
It's just absolutely ludicrous. They have to do something. I mean, with the holidays coming, with Thanksgiving, there's no ends in sight.
The number of canceled flights, Whit, could be higher than expected. Passengers, though, will be eligible for refunds if their flight is canceled and they choose not to fly. Major airlines are also waiving change fees for passengers if they're looking to switch their flights. Whit.
And we're seeing that growing frustration. Stephanie, thank you.
Shalom. I'll give honor and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Berkakodash. That bondness to the elders and apostle great minister and taught me the truth and sincerity. I teach to the hope of the spirit of the brokenness heart. Let's give the lesson titled The Golden City Soon to Be Seized. All right. And the clip you just watched was basically the ABC News reporting on the 1,000 plus flight cancellations, okay? Flights that connect, or flights cancels flight, okay? Over several major airports, okay? Due to this government shutdown, right? And the reason why these flights are canceling are not due to, it's not due to the fact that, you know, bad weather or et cetera, is just to the fact of the different air traffic controllers that work for the federal government. You know, they're not getting paid, right? So they're either not coming to work or they're quitting, okay? And you know, you can't run, you cannot fly by airplane, okay? You cannot air traffic control. They control the airspace, right? You know. The air traffic control is vital to, you know, the transportation of a aircraft from one airport to another airport. Okay, through the sky. Okay, so there's a safety. These flights are being canceled due to ultimately safety hazard or safety risk at play with these air traffic controller not, you know, coming to work or, you know, quitting, which goes into what? Second Ezra 15 and 17, right? A man should desire to go into a city and should not be able, right? And we know that this precept is going to, when Jacob trouble hits and martial law get declared, and when the whole nation country will be under federal government control, okay, and you have but then we can this is pre Jacob trouble, right? Because what the flights that's being canceled, okay, is causing people, to not be able to travel to where they need to go. Okay, travel to another state, another city that they need to go. Okay, so these, air travelers, they trying to go to their, destination. They're desired to get to their destination, not desired to go to their city, but they're not able. All right. And this is going to be on a huge, larger scale, right? This government, those 1,000 plus flight cancel flights, right? It's just a um, precursor, okay? A precursor, cursor. A person or thing that comes before another of the same kind, right? All right. So those flight cancellations are just a precursor to what's to come, okay?
Precursor. Precursor.
These 1,000 flight cancellation is paving the way for a larger event, okay, a larger scale, right? Travel being completely shut down, okay. Ability to go to one city, go to one state, to go across even the globe will be come to a cease, okay. Which is why I named this, which I'm going to go into why I was inspired to, to the Holy Spirit to name this title of this lesson, the golden seed is soon to be seized, right? Because we know that ultimately, what was the golden city, right? Let's go to Isaiah 14, all right? Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 says, "For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers should be joined with them, and they should cleave into the house of Jacob." Okay, so our own land represent what are the land of Israel, right? The land that's currently being ruled by the fake Israelites, the fake. Okay, the land that's being ruled by the Amalekites. Okay, the chief tribe of the nation of Esau. All right. And the whole ultimately the whole world, okay, the whole earth will be um, under control of the nation of Israel, right? The real Israelites, okay, you Latinos, Black, Hispanics, etc., Native Americans, and the strangers represent the other nation, the heathen, okay, Esau, okay, the Hamites, the Ammonites, the Moabites will be joined with us, okay, meaning they're gonna be our servants, okay, they're gonna serve us, okay, and they're gonna cleave to us, right? They're gonna cleave to the tribes, okay? They're gonna be our servants, okay? They're not gonna have their own land, right? They're not gonna be a land of Moab, a land of Ammonite, okay, a land of Esau, a land of Hamites. No, okay? They're gonna cleave, these nations are gonna serve us, okay? They're gonna cleave to us. And the people should take them and brings them to their place in the house of Israel, should possess them in the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids, and they should take them captives whose captives they were. Right. Okay. We're gonna take them captive, right? Because right now we're their captive. Okay, we have to serve them. But the table will be turned, okay? And they shall rule over their oppressors. Okay? We are gonna rule over our oppressors. Our oppressors are what? Those that oppress us daily on currently, okay? Those that rule this world. And they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Okay. And it starts with what? The deliverance. Okay. And the change of the bodies and being, um, being brought back together with our Lord, our power, Yahweh Shah. Okay. And thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. Okay. Now, this, this is referring to he also uses refer to the modern or the ancient Babylon, because what the ancient Babylon, this was when, Isaiah basically um, this was what was back, okay, Babylon, right? This was a nation that was ruling, right? You know, had vast land, okay. I think this was also a pretty sure Isaiah served. Select your bear with me. No. All right. So Isaiah, okay, this is ultimately referring to the modern Babylon. It's like this is referring to modern day Babylon. All right. But Isaiah, he was under the captivity of the Assyrian Empire, which the Assyrian Empire. Let me make sure I got this right. Where's it? Right. Okay. Yeah. It is Assyrian. Right. So this. Right. So we know that the Assyrian and Babylon were two different empires that had two major empires. Okay, that was ruling back then. All right. So, as I was mentioning, so this was during time. It was a prophecy, okay, ultimately, right? Because the king of Babylon is referring to this modern day Babylon, okay, Babylon the Great, right? We know that the ancient Babylon fell, okay, but the scripture speaks about how there was a greater Babylon, okay, than this ancient Babylon, and say how has the oppressor seized the golden city seized, right? This is where I got the title of this lesson from, okay, the golden city seized, right, and I'm going to go into it, all right. The Lord had broken these staffs of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, okay, meaning what that the Lord had broken these staffs of the wicked, right? They represent their power, their rulership, okay, their governments, all right. They're controlled over the world, okay. Like I hear Revelation 17 and 1. It reads, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Okay, this great whore that sitteth upon many waters represent many nations, right? That have, control over many nations, they have their military bases in many nations, right? They have a hegemony over have a whether financially, militarily hegemony, okay, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of fornication, okay, just through what whoredness, right, promoting false doctrines, okay. There's something called a spiritual fornication, okay. You can have physical fornication, physical fornication, which goes to cheating on your partner, okay, committing adultery or whatever you want to call it. But you also have spiritual fornication, right, which goes back to um, worshiping with idols, okay. Or you have you have adultery, homosexuality, which is all just profane things, okay. Which goes back to the Greek word for nia, right, which they say that includes a wide range of illicit sexual intercourse and sexual activities. Okay, all right, and these different king, kings, rulers, whatever you want to call them, they have drinking the wine of this whore fornication. All right, yeah, they're worshiping false idols. Okay, the whole Catholic Church, okay, promotes idolatry. All right. And their happy agenda, okay, their LGBT, their ABC agenda, right? And they're promoting that, okay, on a large scale. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. Okay, so that scarlet goes back to red, so a red colored beast. Okay, a beast just represent, nations. Okay, but it's like it represent a body. Okay, um, of nations. All right, just like Yahushua represent the body of the elect. Okay, or Yahushua represent the body of the church, right? Which is the elect. Okay. Um, this woman that's sitting upon this horn, which this woman represent a nation, okay, a particular nation, sitting upon these other nations, okay, which represent which is a brutal, okay, bestial men. All right, all right. We know that Esau, okay, you know, he came out red like a hairy garment, right? This color beast, okay, this color beast is red, okay, it's a red beast. So we know that these nations represent what? It represent nations represent Esau, okay, full of names of blasphemy, having seven heads and 10 horns. All right, 7 heads and 10 horns represent, the governments, okay. Um, the different Edomites governments, okay. All right, the 7 heads represent the Greeks, the Roman, the French, Great Britain, the Spanish, the German minor, German minor, German major. Okay, so which are 7 Edomites, okay, nations. Okay, that's a part of that body. All right, of the wicked. Okay, Esau. And that beast represent the America, right? Represent America. Okay. And we have to say the 10 horns represent the EOC, right? European Economic Community. EEC, EOC. Okay. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. This is her wickedness, okay? The laws, okay? The agendas, all right, are the filthiness of her fornication, okay? And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay, so that's just simple, right? The mystery Babylon the Great. Okay, but we know who the Babylon the Great is. It's America. Okay, you know, the mother of harlots, mother of whores, the mother of whores. Okay, an abomination of the earth, right? The Lord calls this place, America, an abomination of the earth. Okay, a hatred, disgust. All right. So what's going to happen to this? Um, so the Lord is ultimately bringing this place down, right? Slowly but surely. Okay. Revelation 18:1 reads, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighting with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the holder of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay. So Babylon the great is fallen, okay? It's meanwhile it's seasoned, okay? Seasoned rulership, all right? And becoming the habitations of devils, all right? And the holder of every foul spirit. Okay, so this place is just becoming a habitation of wickedness, okay? The word fallen means to descend from a higher place to a lower, okay? To fall down. To be cast down for a state of prosperity, right? Okay. So with that in mind, I looked up here. How is air travel affect the U.S. economy? Okay, air travel significantly impacts the U.S. economy in various ways. It contributes to the gross domestic product and support millions of jobs. The aviation sector includes airlines, airports, and manufacturing, generates substantial revenue and creates employment opportunities. Additionally, air travel facilitates international trade and cultural exchange, driving economic growth and development. Okay, because you have many companies that trade by air. You have the UPS, okay, FedEx, okay, list goes on and on. All right, but the flights are getting delayed, all right, or canceled. That basically put a dent in the U.S. economy, right? And you need a thriving economy to prosper. Okay. So this whole government shutdown is causing a huge impact, a dent in the U.S. economy, right? Over 1,000 flights. You have some passenger flights in there, but some of these flights can be, these big companies flight, commercial, these big, you know, company flights that use commercial that use air travel to, trade. So I'm gonna look this up real quick. Merchant. Revelation 18:9 says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication of delicious with her should bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Right, this is going to the nuclear destruction. Okay. There will stand afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth, okay, shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buys their merchandise anymore. Meanwhile, no man trade with Babylon. Okay, there wouldn't be no more trading with this whore. Okay, because the Lord, going back to Isaiah 14, is going to cause this golden city to cease. Okay. Because Esau is the beginning of the world, and Jacob is that which followeth, right? So Esau rulership is soon to be ceased, right? And Jacob is soon to begin, right? The Israelites is soon to begin. So I'm close here by giving all the praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashir, Kaklash. That's an official.